This is the Road to the Transfer Test Problem Solving. And this booklet is really aimed at children who are in P5, so halfway through primary 5, into Easter time, and then the beginning of primary 6. And it covers problem solving, maths problem solving. And it really goes through all the different topics, and it gives them a lot of practice in problem solving, which is an essential skill for both the AQE and GL transfer tests. So we go through the basic operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, and the sorts of problem solving questions that you get for those. And then we go into other top math topics as well, and the different problem solving questions that you can get. So problem solving is a skill that is needed for the transfer test. More and more we're finding every year when we look at AQE past papers, the maths is heavily weighted towards problem solving questions, and children really find these difficult. They really need to learn how to break down the questions, how to make sure their working out is correct, and this is a skill that needs to be taught and practiced. So you can see that the first topic is addition, and the first page is always a little bit of a fact file and a little bit of practice in that basic operation, and then we're into the problems. So the first problem solving sheet is basic one-step problems. So most children in primary 5 and certainly in primary 6 will be able to tackle these ones without too much difficulty. They're only going to have to do one sum to answer them. Then we're into addition with 2 steps, and this is where it gets more complicated. I would describe a lot of the questions in the transfer test in the AQE and GL, they're like mini stories, they're like short stories. And this can be very daunting for children, especially if reading is not something that they enjoy or they struggle with reading. They need to make sure that they read the question very carefully. They need to understand what the problem is asking them. They need to pick it apart and work out exactly what sums they need to do. And quite often they're going to need to do more than one sum to solve a problem. So an example would be number 7. During the football season, Messi scored 35 goals, Salah scored 24 goals, and Griezmann scored twice the amount that Messi and Salah scored together. How many goals were scored in total? Now, a lot of children who struggle with problem solving will look at this question. They will see 35 goals, they might underline it or highlight it. They might see 24 goals and underline or highlight it. And they'll add those two numbers together. And then they'll think that that is the answer. How many goals were scored in total? Well, I can see 35 and 24, so I'm going to add those two numbers together to get the answer. But they haven't read it properly. So you've got to look beyond that. You've got to read it carefully, read it twice. Griezmann scored twice the amount that Messi and Salah scored. So you're going to have to add those two numbers together and then double your answer by multiplying. And then after that, you're going to have to add your 3 numbers together. So it's actually a lot of work, and children need to practice that, and they need to learn how to break problems down. Okay, so we're into subtraction, so same thing, and then we have 1 step, we've got addition and subtraction, 2 steps, multiplication 1 step, multiplication 2 steps, and you can see how wordy these problem solving questions are by this stage. Division, no remainders. Okay, problem solving, division, no remainders, division with remainders, and our problem solving. Okay, and then we have a mixture of division, addition and subtraction and addition questions. Then we're into time duration, so a little bit of a fact file on that and some examples to work through, working forwards and backwards in time. And then the problem solving questions you might get for time duration, money, and the problem solving, simple fraction of, so this is just really good revision, and then the sorts of questions you might get for that, more complex fraction of, so we're finding 3/4 instead of 1/4. And then we have simple percentages, so the basic percentages, 50%, 25% and 10%, knowing what they are as fractions, and then how to use that in problem solving questions. Decimals, so ordering decimals, also lining decimals up when you're adding and subtracting, making sure that everything is in the right column and you've got your place value correct. And then some problem solving. We have measure using length. We have measure using weight and volume. And we have area and perimeter. And then we're into our mixed questions. So this is just a combination of all the different skills that we've been practicing in this booklet, and there are 8 pages of those. So you can see there's plenty of material for them to practice. And if they can get through this book and really hone in on those problem solving skills, breaking the problems down, working out what they need to do, and doing the sums underneath each of them, then they'll master problem solving and be ready to start their practice papers towards the end of P6. Thank you for listening.